Everyone. Although not typical of the type of content you normally see on my channel, but if you love this movie, you're going to love this video.
Now. So the tour does have two parts, the house and the museum. First I'm going to take you through the house. Now it is the actual house, but everything inside is a replica. So that means it is fully interactive. So in just a few minutes, it's going to be your guys' turn to reenact all of your favorite scenes from the movie. Then once we're finished in here, I'm going to take you across the street to the museum, and we're going to check out all of the actual costumes and props that we have from the film. Now each time we enter a new building, I am going to get the boring part out of the way first and do all the talking. Then the back half is going to be yours to check out everything that we have. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Now before we get started, I do have just a few questions for everybody. Has everybody seen A Christmas Story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did everybody like A Christmas Story?
Yes.
Yeah.
But was anybody forced to like it?
I've never seen the whole movie in line. I've seen every part, but never the whole thing.
That's like me. Oh, hey. Well, for those of you that didn't know, A Christmas Story is actually based on a novel. Now that novel is a compilation of short stories loosely based on events that happened during the author, Jean Shepherd's childhood. Does anybody by any chance know the name of this novel?
Christmas Story.
That is a very good guess,
You're wrong.
but it is unfortunately incorrect. It's titled In God We Trust and All Others Pay Cash. And as I said, it's a collection of short stories loosely based on events that happened during Jean Shepherd's childhood. Now, Jean Shepherd initially got his start telling some of these stories on a radio show. Now, the director of our film is Bob Clark. He is mostly known for directing B-rated horror films such as Black Christmas and Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, but he is mostly known for directing Porky's. One evening, Bob Clark was actually on his way to pick up a date. Now, while he was driving there, he turned on the radio. On the radio happened to be Jean Shepherd telling the story of how his friend got his tongue stuck to a flagpole when they were kids. Well, Bob Clark just thought this story was absolutely hilarious, and he just knew he had to make it into a movie. Well, unfortunately for his date, she never did get picked up that evening. Instead, Bob Clark got in contact with Jean Shepherd, and they decided to make A Christmas Story. Now, early on, when they were pitching the idea for A Christmas Story to various production companies, they were having a little bit of trouble getting it picked up, because production companies did not think it was going to do very well. Well, MGM ended up making a deal with Bob Clark. They said, well, you gave us Porky's, and that did pretty well, so if you make us a sequel, we'll let you make A Christmas Story. So if it wasn't for Porky's, we wouldn't have our beloved Christmas classic. Now, when looking for a filming location, Jean Shepherd was looking for something similar to his hometown. He grew up in Hammond, Indiana, so he was looking for something a little bit more Midwestern. He was also looking for a department store that would leave their Christmas decorations up past the Christmas season and would allow them to film a Christmas movie there. In order to accomplish this, they sent out numerous messages all across the United States to various department stores. They only got one answer, one response. Luckily, it was a yes, and that was right here in downtown Cleveland. Does anybody remember the name of that department store?
Hallie's.
Hallie's?
Higbee's.
Close. Higbee's is correct.
Higbee's. One of the H's.
Yeah.
Now, the Higbee's building is still standing to this day in Cleveland's public square, but you will find that it is no longer Higbee's. Now it is actually the Jack's Casino.
We were there this morning.
Nice. Now, when Jean Shepherd and Bob Clark initially came to Cleveland to take a look at Higbee's, they actually noticed the smoke coming from the steel mill. Well, neither of them had ever been to Cleveland before, and for whatever reason, they thought it was a novel idea to try and figure out how to get there themselves. What do you think happened to them?
They got lost and ended up here.
Exactly. They got lost. They got pretty darn close, though. They made a wrong turn right here down Raleigh Avenue. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Are you guys here for I'm just gonna take the little stuff off the bottom? Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You're good. Sorry, guys. We're late to the party.
So as I was saying, as Jean Shepherd and Bob Clark ended up making a wrong turn right here on Raleigh Avenue, and they stopped at that very stop sign many of you may have on your way in today. And they spotted this house. Gene Shepherd, he took one look at it and he immediately fell in love with it because it reminded him of his childhood home. It also stood out amongst all of the other houses up and down the street because this one still looked like it was stuck in the 1940s. So as excited as they were, Gene Shepherd and Bob Clark hopped out of the car, ran up to the door, knocked on the door, hoping to find the owner, but they got no answer. So they tried again, but still no answer. So they became very disappointed, and like some adults do when they become disappointed, they found the nearest bar to go have a drink. So they walked right across the street to the Raleigh Inn. They sat down at the bar and they ordered their drinks and thought, the bartender's here pretty often, so maybe he knows the owner of the house across the street. Well, unfortunately, he was a new employee at the time, so he did not know. But luckily, there was somebody else there who did know. Who was it?
The owner of the house.
The owner of the house was sitting at the bar having a drink after work. He turned to them and said, well, what do you want with my house? So they made the proposition. Would you mind if we rented out your house for 11 weeks to film a Christmas movie? What do you think he said?
Hell no.
Oh. Supposedly it was because he didn't trust the Hollywood types, and he was concerned on where he was going to stay for those 11 weeks. Well, after a few rounds of drinks and a check for $20,000, he handed over the keys and said, do with it what you will. So that is how this house became the A Christmas Story house. Now if I can turn your attention to this wall right over here, we have our beloved Parker family. We have Randy, who is played by Ian Petrella, Ralphie, who is played by Peter Billingsley, the old man, who is played by Darren McGavin, and Mrs. Parker, who is played by Melinda Dillon. Now of these four, who do you think was not originally in mind to play their role in A Christmas Story? Peter Billingsley?
Darren.
Darren McGavin? Well, of those two guesses, one of them does happen to be correct, and that would be Darren McGavin. Darren McGavin was not originally in mind to play as the old man. That being said, who do you think it was? Here's a hint. Red rum.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson was originally in mind to play as the old man. Now, no offense to Jack Nicholson, but there were a few issues with that. Firstly, he was a very popular actor in the early 1980s, so he wanted a pretty wealthy check to be in our movie. Our budget was somewhere right about $1.65 million. Well, Jack Nicholson wanted that, and then some to play in our movie. So that wasn't going to work out too well. Secondly, he was just coming off of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I'm not so sure how much of a loving, fatherly figure he would have been able to pull off. If you have little brother Randy hiding under the kitchen sink saying, Daddy's gonna kill Ralphie, and here's Johnny comes busting through the door. It would have been a very different Christmas that year, perhaps much darker. As I said before, this is a fully interactive museum, so now it is your turn to reenact all of your favorite scenes from the movie. You can pick up the leg lamp in the crate or take a picture next to the one in the window. You can even grope it. I promise, I will not judge you. However, I can't say the same for the outsiders. You might get a few funny looks. You can pick up the BB gun and pretend to shoot your eye out. Or you can hide under the kitchen sink like little brother Randy. But make sure that when you do go upstairs, you pick up the telephone because you do have a phone call waiting for you. After you guys have finished reenacting all of your favorite scenes and checking everything out, if we can meet back up in here in about 10 to 15 minutes or so, I'm going to give you a little bit more information before we head out to the backyard. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kids are the other side, dude.
What is that?
I used to eat. you adjusted your dampers.
We used to have one of these in my mom's basement. A ringer.
That baby's worth some money.
What a great tag.
Oh, you can hear him downstairs beating up on his furnace.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
I don't remember that part.
There was that vent where he looked in the wall and it got coated with the
Yeah.
dust.
You're fine, sweetheart. Unfortunately, I crossed your right hand. No problem.
We're gonna go upstairs,
Wanna
right?
go upstairs?
Yep.
Oh my God, my grandma totally had the X-ray for house.
I told you that was a Kirby.
It is a Kirby.
Yeah.
Weighed 600 pounds.
Yeah.
The belt would break and you'd take the front end off so we get the damn thing back on.
Look at that.
That's what I use.
Here's your Red Rider.
You all blurry.
Shoot your eye out.
Did you see how I tried to hang it up? That's how you know it for 2002.
I was gonna say,
I did go first. I don't know why. I usually go last.
You haven't met since yeah, you listen to it.
Wallpaper.
Oh, Schwartz, I can hear him. You know what your son just said? Exactly, yes. What do you think?
There's his, you'll shoot your eye out paper.
I can hear it from every minute. That's hysterical. And she lost you. It's none of that.
Sorry, kid.
20 grand. For
Oh my goodness.
I used to have that box right there. I guess it was my mom that was it.
You guys ought to listen to your phone call. Don't forget to listen to your phone call.
Hey, we were almost right up there with the toilet.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, do something.
Just lift it
Yeah.
up.
Sure, drink your old.
I remember Ovaltine never dissolved and it's crunchy in your milk. It was gross.
That's when she told her neighbor boy that he learned that F word from.
Tell you what, Michelle, the walls in here are straighter than our house.
I know. Nice steps.
I wonder how much they sold this house for. Well, there was grass coming through there.
This house was born or built probably in the 30s or so. I bet.